Well, in this video, we're just going to talk about Donald Trump's shithole comment. And of course, this video is not going to be monetized, obviously. I don't think YouTube will allow that. But please feel free to subscribe and watch this video all the way through, and share it. But basically, that he allegedly called a lot of African countries shitholes. He didn't really say that about Haiti, but African countries. And this is allegedly because there's apparently only one person that was in the meeting that says he said that. The others, including a DNC chair, I believe it was, that says he didn't. They didn't hear him say it. Whether or not he said it or not, I do not know. But let's analyze the shithole comment, Africa. Now, those of you who actually know your history, you realize that, Africa's been colonized. They had people taken, away as slaves, and they've been colonized. They had a lot of the resources taken away from them, and a lot of their industries. And of course, a lot of those countries were just drawn up by European powers. So you have people who really don't get along with each other. Certain tribes, they may have lived side by side and didn't really fight intensely, but now they're under the same government, and each one want control. That's not going to work out. Most of Africa's problems is because of colonization. You may say, well, that was 100 years ago. Yeah, but when you draw up those borders and put people in together the way they did, and people are not, and let's face it, most people in general, people all over the world, I don't care who they are, people are very selfish and self-centered. Yeah, they could easily share. We could all easily share this planet, but people aren't going to do that. They all want everything for themselves. So that's, their economy suffers, their people suffer, and it kind of makes Africa kind of like a hellhole. But it is not their fault. And if you work in education, jobs like that, and you work around people from Africa, you'll notice some stuff about them. One is they're very polite. They're very, very polite. They're far nicer than most American people you meet. Second thing you'll notice is they care a lot more about their education than most American students do. They take it far more seriously. They're there on time in class, even early. They're studying all the time, and they get higher grades. 3, they're better disciplined. Far better disciplined. Hopefully, if you want to fix the problems in Africa or South America or any other place, calling a shithole country isn't going to help you, okay? Because they are not shithole countries. They're just countries having problems because they got fucked in the past. That's all. They were taken advantage of, and they got fucked. Let's face that. Whether or not you believe Donald Trump said that or not, that's up to you. I have to have evidence. I have to actually hear him say it. Like I want, but I've not heard him say it, so I don't know. It just seems like something he would say, so people just believe it. If you want to help Africa, just giving them money is not going to help you. People should immigrate there. People, immigrating there might seem like, well, that might not be smart. Well, enough people immigrate there. That brings in money, and that helps the government and helps the people. And of course, eventually, you educate the people, better education, better, hospitals and all this stuff, and they eventually, with their education, they rise up and they get into the government positions, and then eventually they can change their governments and maybe install democracies throughout Africa and even South America. I'm including South America. I'm not calling them, insulting them or anything like that, or even Africa or any other country. And of course, for a president to call them a shithole country is definitely not something he should do if he said it. Because then how are you going to work with these people? These people now realize what he thinks of them and their country. Now they aren't going to want to work with them. I'm sure some of you heard about the Chad incident, but now they don't really want to help the U.S. with terrorism because of some stuff Trump has done. A lot of the problems in Africa really stems from colonialism. It's not just Europe. Middle Eastern Muslims have done their fair share. And now, if you look, you'll see that China's in there. And no one's going to say anything about China because they're not white. I feel bad for Africa. And Africa's just a beautiful continent, a lot of nice stuff. They got a lot of resources, and unfortunately, they don't have the political power to defend themselves. It's kind of like, the rest of us on YouTube, small channels, we get fucked because we don't have the viewership, we don't have the subscribers and everything. They'll say, well, you're only making like maybe $100 a year or less. And some of us are making a little bit more than $100 a year. And, we're going to just take that away from you, and we're going to just help the big channels. We'll just promote the big channels. It's the same type of thing. There were people tell you Africa was always like this, always a shithole. But no, it was never a shithole. It isn't now, and it never was. A lot of stuff you hear about them, in the past, none of that stuff is really true. Look up your sources. Make sure you read your sources and learn your history. A lot of the problems in Africa is, as I said, colonialism. They got fucked pretty bad, and they got a lot of things from their country, a lot of their oil and well, I don't know about oil, but a lot of their resources taken out or removed, and they were humiliated. Not to mention how the countries are drawn. European powers just arbitrarily drew their countries because they figured, well, everyone else has their national borders. Let's do this to Africa. And they fucked Africa pretty good doing that. Don't be thinking that, oh, they're just bad people or whatever. It's a mess, and I don't think we're going to fix problems in Africa anytime soon. But go there, visit, be a tourist, things like that. Of course, be safe and be smart when you go there. It's like any other country. Even if you're going to Norway, you want to be careful. You don't just act stupid, He supposedly said, why not get more people from Norway? I don't think if you live in Norway, you really want to come to the United States. Or if you live in Japan, why would you come here? I know that sounds anti-patriotic, but, it's the truth, though. Hopefully, this stuff gets fixed. Hopefully we'll eventually get people that realize, we need to actually get people moving into Africa that wants to actually fix up the countries better. And, of course, you train and educate people. Same with South America, and Mexico. First off, my opinion, decriminalize all drugs. Not legalize them, but decriminalize the drugs. And that most of these terrorists and gangbangers and all these people lose a lot of their power. Also, a lot of these hate groups, neo-Nazis, the Klan, and all these others, a lot of these hate groups, I'm not going to name names who does and doesn't, because I have no clue, but I do know that a lot of them do get their money from the drugs. But you just decriminalize the drugs, so a person just pays a fine and may have to take some classes, how to, they have to take some, go somewhere and get detoxed and, learn how to stay off the drugs and stuff. The person selling the drugs, their ass gets sent to the slinger. And the same with prostitution. Decriminalize it, and the people that are actually pimping these women, and it's usually women that are being pimped, again, go right in the slammer. And of course, with rapists, I always say just remove the genitals. They don't need them. And it's not cruel or unusual punishment, because you think about what you're just removing something they're using to commit a crime. That's all you're doing. It's like someone, shoots people. You just simply remove their ability to commit the crime by they're no longer allowed to own a gun or whatever. And that's the same thing. But that's that's it. Well, I don't know. Maybe I can make this another hour, another minute and 10 seconds longer. But like I said, you build their infrastructure, you improve their education system. Of course, they would have to have jobs. They obviously will need to have jobs. You have to be able to provide them with jobs. They need jobs, and they need job security. Move manufacturing jobs in there, science fields and stuff like STEM and all these things. And really, we need an international space agency. Do all this stuff with space, and every nation, including African nations and South America, let them all participate. Send some people from Africa and South America up in space. Colonize the moon. The moon for basically as a base for science, only for science, and for, of course, going to Mars and any other planet. A lot of African and South American scientists also go there. And then, of course, Mars for mining and all that other stuff. Of course, it'll take decades to do all this. You know, we got to think about, allow them, give them something to participate in like the rest of us. Because instead of just hogging all the technology, hogging everything for ourselves. Oh well, that's it. Bye.